King's Chariot really started as a passion. My dad showed us everything he knew.
For the last 20, 30 years of working in Pontiacs and building Pontiacs and buying and selling Pontiacs, my sons were always there watching all of that.
It grew into a business because it was a hobby. We're just like, man, we really want this other car. We gotta have that car. All right, well, let's move this car.
What King's Chariot really specializes in is modern GM and vintage muscle cars.
My sons and I work very hard at delivering some of the most beautiful, rare Camaros and Firebirds that we can find.
530 or something on a Mustang now. It's 575, 580 on a Dyno Jet. 650 at the motor. 575 to the tire.
We have to sell the cars we have to get the new cars for our addiction. So.
What I began to value in cars is exactly what I wanted to provide for customers. Authenticity, low production numbers, beauty, cars that had a high demand. TransAM Depot has gone great lengths to ensure that they own the rights to the TransAM name. That's very important because that in itself is going to create value for the cars that they produce.
You brought it out and made it radical enough that it looks, right away you go, TransAM. Honeycomb grill, the whole work.
Yeah, exactly. Snowflakes, honeycomb,
snowflakes.
the whole deal.
The only people who can call it a TransAM.
Really?
It's a real TransAM. Yeah.
I was behind this one down Main Street.
That was me. I was driving.
Okay, I told my wife, that's not stock.
Yeah, that's supercharged. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good looking car.
They're beautiful.
Real good looking car.
This looks sick. Wow. Like growing up, they had to judge. They got married and had to sell it. So now it's back, but it's got air conditioning. Exactly. And overdrive.
That's a nice pull.
Oh yeah. That's righteous.
Real nice.
That's
How
righteous.
smooth that is.
612.
At 12%, that's 660 on a Dyno Jet.
Teaming up with TransAM Depot, two brothers, Scott and Todd.
They're a family-owned business, so are we. We really love that aspect of the business.
They value the relationship with God, they value their family, and they value business that is at the highest level of integrity. It's all being done right there in one place, where each of these guys are actually overlapping and helping each other and offering ideas so that the end product is being managed by one person overseeing all of these fine artists, as far as I'm concerned, working on the same vehicle. So it's very important that people understand that these cars are not just something Pontiac would build. These are very beautiful, handcrafted cars, absolutely at the highest level of workmanship that you're going to find anywhere, any country, and any place.
Pontiac would have made these cars today. They would resemble these cars, but they wouldn't compare in quality at all. When you make a car in that massive of production, the attention to detail isn't there. These cars are truly supercars in every way. The painters won multiple awards at Concours d'Elegance. Their mechanic is excellent. The motor work that's involved in these cars is just top-notch.
We are convinced that right now there isn't a car out there in the market between 2nd and 5th gen Camaros and Firebirds that are creating the type of value that these cars are. Everyone who has one of these 5th gen TransAMs isn't selling it. That says that they believe heavily in what they have, they know that there's value there, they're enjoying their car.
Horsepower ranges from 500 to 1300 horsepower. You can get a car with just a cam, you can get a car can, lifters, tune, you can get a supercharged car, you can get a twin turbo car, and there's different stages in each.
The car's drivability is honestly very tame, but when you get on the car, it actually turns into something very different.
Seats are completely redone. Everything on the interior is custom.
I mean, you could do the teal with the white interior that they used to have. You get the judge. I remember that. You get the judge with the blue on blue. With the yellow stripe. You can do any kind of classic style you want. You can do anything. It's wild.
You got to look at the gauges. They're all 78 TransAM font. So when you look at the gauges, you think you're looking at a 78 TransAM.
Dude, they're not even decals. They're painted.
Oh, I think
They're painted on. That's hand painted.
there's all kinds of different builds you can get.
Yeah.
And there's pretty much nothing the same except the chassis and the wheel with the interior. Gorgeous. Yeah, thank you very much.
The October show is African. We're going to invent a whole class for them. We don't have a class for these guys. We'll have to call it 5th generation. 5th generation. Out of control.
This is quiet too.
Pretty sharp, huh?
All lined up.
They get to focus more on building the cars versus having to sell them. I mean, we get to help them out as being their dealer.
Working with Todd, working with Scott, working with the artists that are there, I want to offer to customers a step beyond what they might find in just ordering a vehicle, and use my experience with Pontiacs and use my experience with TransAM Depot and ensure that that car that they've got in their mind does come to pass and does get delivered to them exactly the way that they expected.
So you're saying it's easy to talk your wife into getting it?
Yeah,
It's very easy to talk your
extremely
wife
easy.
into
Yeah, I didn't really have to. She saw it and she said thanks. I said what?